I say to you that there is in operation at the present time a conspiracy to sell, and I use the word sell advisedly, this country to the Dominion of Canada.
This is Ramia, a small island town that wouldn't exist today without the unification of the people who stood against government and adversity to preserve the culture and heritage handed down by ancestors who believed this place was beautiful enough to create a legacy. In the 1950s, the tiny island of Ramia, off Newfoundland's south coast, faced a trial that threatened to erase its existence. Home to roughly 600 souls, this fishing outport was a patchwork of salt box houses and stages perched on granite, where cod was king and community was everything. But by 1956, the cod fishery was collapsing under overfishing and harsh winters that froze the harbor solid. The provincial government, pushing its resettlement program, saw Ramia as a relic, too remote, too costly to sustain. They urged families to abandon their homes for mainland towns, offering $500 per household and vague promises of jobs. For Ramia's people, the hardship was existential. Stay and face starvation, or leave behind centuries of heritage. The adversity was relentless. Supplies dwindled as schooners struggled to reach the ice-choked island. The school closed when the teacher left, and the only nurse ran out of medicine. Families burned furniture to stay warm, and children went barefoot in spring, their boots worn through. It was like the sea itself turned against us, recalled Elsie Keeping in Mother of Five. The government's pressure was a final blow, cutting mail service and threatening to halt fuel deliveries. Despair hung heavy. Some families packed up, their hearts breaking as they boarded boats to Burgeo or beyond. But Ramia's spirit wouldn't break. Elsie and her husband, George, a fisherman with hands like leather, rallied the community. They refused to let their island die. George organized the men to brave the ice, fishing in treacherous waters with patched nets, hauling meager catches just to share. Elsie led the women in preserving every scrap, pickling fish, boiling seaweed for broth, and knitting sweaters from unraveled blankets to trade with the mainlanders. The church became their fortress, where they sang Newfoundland shanties and planned resistance. Youngsters like 14-year-old Tommy Penny scoured the cliffs for gull eggs and berries, their small hands feeding families. Their triumph was hard won. In 1957, Ramia's people struck a deal with the government. They'd stay, but they needed a fish plant to survive. George and others rode 20 miles to Burgeo to plead their case, returning with a promise of funding. The community built the fish plant themselves, hauling lumber across the ice. And by 1959, the plant hummed, processing cod and lobster, giving Ramia a lifeline. Some families still left, but those who stayed kept their culture alive. Jigs, storytelling, and mummering thrived. The schools reopened, and Elsie taught the children Ramia songs. Today, Ramia endures. Its population smaller, but its pride fierce. The fish plant, though modernized, stands as a monument to their grit. Descendants of Elsie and George still fish Ramia's waters, their boats bobbing where their ancestors defied oblivion. They triumph not just by surviving, but by proving that Ramia's heart, its people, could outlast any storm.